Hi there, and welcome to the event. We'll be getting started in just a moment. Take a look around our event platform. You'll find important event information, a list of resources, including our follow along materials, as well as our media player window. You can resize the media player by clicking and dragging from the bottom corner. Or you can click the Maximize button to view this presentation in full screen. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be starting shortly.
I see cold, I'm just a diamond in the rough. Keep it cool, cause every time I'm rising up. I'm on a roll, oh yeah, I do it like that. I'm wild and bold, oh na 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 na. Got 'em like got 'em like
Hi there and welcome. I'm Jared with Microsoft. I'm delighted you've joined us today. As finance professionals, you're constantly analyzing complex data, creating models, and communicating financial insights to stakeholders across your organization. And maintaining accuracy while working efficiently can be a challenge. Today, we'll explore how Microsoft 365 Copilot can transform your workflow by enhancing your analytical capabilities, helping you translate financial concepts into clear business language. It's not about replacing expertise, it's about amplifying it and giving you more powerful tools to analyze data, model scenarios, and communicate financial insights effectively. We've designed this session to be practical and relevant to your finance responsibilities. Feel free to share questions through the chat feature as we go. Our team is monitoring and will address as many as possible. Now, let's take a look at our agenda. We'll begin with a quick introduction to Microsoft 365 Copilot and what makes it uniquely powerful. Then, we'll cover some of the essential prompting strategies to help you communicate effectively with Copilot. The heart of our session, though, will be live demonstrations across the Microsoft 365 suite. You'll see firsthand how Copilot can help you quickly catch up on critical meetings and discussions in Teams, build sophisticated models with Python and Excel, extract key guidance from complex documentation in Word, and gain personalized coaching on an email reply in Outlook. We'll conclude with next steps and resources to support your Copilot journey. Everything we cover today is designed to deliver value to your role. So, let's get started. When you think about being productive at work, you might imagine having an assistant there to help. Traditionally, we associate assistants with executives and upper management. However, with advancements in AI, Copilot is designed to provide everyone with an AI assistant at work. This is a bold promise, and Copilot delivers in significant ways. But first, it's important to understand that this artificial intelligence is powered by what's called a large language model, or LLM. Essentially, what this means is that it understands words and how they relate to each other. That combines to form a vast amount of intelligence that can respond to us in a human like way. In the past, interacting with computers required a knowledge of code and a rigid and structured way of communicating for the PC to understand. Now, with large language models and Copilot, you can use casual, conversational speech and it will intelligently understand you. This is the foundation of how Copilot works. Its capabilities are further enhanced with its integration into Microsoft 365, giving it access to your organization's data. Of course, it is built with best in class data protection and privacy. This intelligence and company knowledge are also integrated into the apps that you use daily. These apps include familiar ones like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, Outlook, and even some newer faces like Microsoft Loop. To access Copilot, your organization needs to have assigned you a Microsoft 365 Copilot license. Once you have a license, you'll see the Copilot icon, which I'll show you later, and you can interact with Copilot within the apps you're familiar with. As I mentioned, Copilot has access to a wide array of company data, including sensitive information and confidential projects. It's crucial to emphasize that Microsoft 365 Copilot runs on trust, the trust that you and your organization place in us at Microsoft. The data that you provide to Copilot is your data. Microsoft and our partners cannot view your interactions, and your data is not used to train the AI models. The AI models are already highly trained, and your data is used solely for your organization's purposes. The security of this language model is backed by Microsoft's comprehensive compliance and security protocols, providing the same level of protection that organizations have relied on with Microsoft 365 for years. There are several ways that you can talk to Copilot. One way is through Copilot Chat for Work and Web, which can be accessed in a few different places. To talk to Copilot, you can go to microsoft.com/copilot. This will take you to the web-based interface where you can ask Copilot questions about your organization or knowledge that's on the web and much more. You'll also find this chat interface inside of the Microsoft 365 Copilot app and through the sidebar in our Microsoft Edge browser. Inside of Microsoft Teams, you can chat with Copilot in the Chat tab, just as you would with your colleagues. Now, you can gain even more value from Copilot by using the in-app chat. Apps like Outlook. Copilot can assist you drafting emails and considering the context of the entire email thread. In Microsoft Teams, Copilot is available in meetings and chats. In Microsoft Word, it allows you to draft and summarize content. And in PowerPoint, it will help you present information effectively. This is also available in Excel and a variety of other applications too. Across these apps, Copilot is deeply integrated into these experiences. So, how does it work? The key is prompts. Prompts are what you say to Copilot. Now, while I'm going to share the best way to prompt Copilot, it is important to remember that you can just talk to it naturally, as if you were conversing with another person. Even if your prompt isn't perfect, Copilot will still strive to provide a helpful response. However, there are some ways to enhance your prompts for optimal results. Simply telling Copilot what you need is an excellent way to get started. It can perform tasks like transforming an FAQ document into a 10-slide onboarding guide. It's also useful for catching up on information that we may have missed in a Teams chat or an email thread, or for learning about the different projects and concepts that exists within an organization. You can phrase these requests as standard questions, but adding the right ingredients to your prompts makes it even more powerful. There are 4 key elements to crafting an effective Copilot prompt. First is the goal. Clearly state, what do you want Copilot to do? For example, generate 3 to 5 bullet points. Well, that is our goal. Now, when it comes to context, this is about providing background information to explain why do you need the information. For example, to let's say prepare me for a meeting with client X to discuss their phase 3 brand campaign. Now, because Microsoft 365 Copilot is integrated, it understands who client X is and the details of the phase 3 plus brand campaign, so you don't have to copy and paste information in context. We also want to specify a source. For example, focus on emails and Teams chats since June. This is useful if a significant change occurred, let's say, in June, and the earlier information is irrelevant. By giving Copilot this context, it helps refine the response. And finally, we also want to set proper expectations. Like, for example, please use simple language so I can get up to speed quickly, or explain this to me as if I am a child, or explain it to me as if you were a pirate. Whatever it is, these expectations help Copilot give you these better responses. All of these elements, goal, context, sources, and expectations, are the ingredients to make an effective Copilot prompt. Here are a few other tips for prompting. Your initial prompt is just the beginning. You can keep the conversation going and follow up on your prompts to guide Copilot towards the best outcome. Copilot also excels at translating languages. Large language models have a strong understanding of language, so that makes localization even easier. Copilot can also assist with creative tasks, such as creating a narrative or developing a storytelling demo of your organization's products. It is important to be aware of Copilot's limitations. While we are continuously working to enhance Copilot's capabilities, there are some tasks that it just cannot yet perform. Copilot will attempt to inform you of its limitations, but sometimes the response may be unsatisfactory or unclear. It is important for you to use your human power of judgment and discernment in evaluating the response to make sure that it is quality. Using quotation marks for specific phrases can be helpful for Copilot, just as it is for human readers. And when we're switching to a topic, it is good to start fresh and create a new chat to help Copilot stay focused. Finally, it's beneficial to treat Copilot with the same level of professionalism that you would extend to your colleagues. Now, while this might seem a bit unusual to be courteous to a computer, it has been observed that being professional and kind to Copilot can result in more comprehensive and insightful responses. Therefore, it's a good practice to say please and thank you. If you need assistance with prompting, there is a Copilot prompt library available. When interacting with Copilot, you'll typically see a window like this where you can input your prompts. At the bottom, there is an icon that resembles stars or a book, and it's usually labeled View Prompts. Clicking on this opens up the Copilot prompt gallery. Here, you'll find a variety of prompts created by Microsoft and others, which you can use as inspiration. You can customize these prompts to suit your specific needs, providing a great starting point. So if you find a prompt that you like, you can bookmark it using that icon there, and it'll be saved in your saved area within the Copilot prompt gallery. Now, to access this, you can go to microsoft.com/copilot, and then you'll find that View Prompts button there at the bottom. If you're not seeing what's described, do remember that you need to have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license assigned. And if you haven't had your license assigned yet, still watch this session, and you can learn about that for future use. Once you've saved your prompts, you can also share them with colleagues. Within the prompt gallery, hovering over a prompt reveals a link icon that you see here next to the bookmark. Clicking this link copies a URL to your clipboard, which you can then send to others. When they click that URL, it's going to open a fresh Copilot chat, and that prompt will already be pre-populated, allowing them to make any edits they need and then submit it to Copilot. This is an easy way to share prompts via a direct link. Here are some key prompts to get you started. These are among the top 10 that users find most valuable with Copilot. I'll highlight just a few. For example, recapping a meeting. This is a game changer. If you have ever been in a Teams meeting and struggled to take notes without missing important details, Copilot will revolutionize your meeting participation because you can stay focused and let Copilot handle all of the note taking. We can also summarize information, both in an email thread or in a document and beyond, even in PowerPoint presentations. We also have the email abilities with drafting a new email or even drafting an entire Word document, so you can get that type of creative writing assistance. Education is key. Tell me about a topic or a project. Copilot can search company data to provide information on projects and then explain it in a natural way. This is particularly useful for new employees that are getting acquainted with their organization. You can also ask Copilot to revise existing content or even translate it, as I mentioned before, into any other language. Now, let's see Microsoft 365 Copilot in action with our fictitious demo company, Welcome to Boulder Innovations, where cutting edge EV charging solutions meet intelligent design. What you are looking at is our flagship product, the Charge Hub Pro, an elegant yet powerful EV charging solution that is transforming commercial spaces across the world. Today, we'll see how this forward thinking company is leveraging Microsoft 365 Copilot to accelerate their mission of making electric mobility accessible to all. Our company has been around since 2014 and has evolved from a startup to an industry leader with over 850 employees across multiple locations. We're currently focused on four key initiatives. We are expanding into the European market. We're also launching our affordable residential product line with the Charge Hub Home, as well as enhancing security and elevating our customer experiences. These strategic priorities create a perfect backdrop for us to demonstrate how Microsoft 365 Copilot can empower different roles to drive innovation across the organization. Meet Arjun Wells, a member of the finance team at Boulder. He's currently developing financial models for both the European expansion and the new residential product line. Today, we'll see how Arjun uses Microsoft 365 Copilot to quickly absorb complex information, build sophisticated financial projections, and communicate technical concepts clearly to non financial colleagues, all while ensuring that Boulder's growth plans remain financially sound and strategically viable. Arjun is returning from vacation. And if you're like me, one of the first things you do when returning from vacation is check Microsoft Teams and Outlook. So let's start in Microsoft Teams.
Arjun has just returned from a week-long vacation to find numerous conversations that he missed. Copilot quickly distills a week's worth of conversations into a concise summary that identifies urgent priorities. Equipped with this knowledge, Arjun can immediately begin his financial analysis without reading through dozens of messages.
I'm going to move down here and open it up. And I can see that there has been some discussion inside of our strategic finance group. Let's take a look at this. Oh my goodness, yes, they have been talking. This is a lot of information for me to review all at once. And so I'm going to turn on a feature up here called AI Notes, right there. I open this up and I'll click Turn On. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to review everything that's been said inside of this chat, and it'll compile these notes based on the conversations that have been happening. So it'll take just a moment to generate those here on the side. Perfect. So now I can see what they are talking about. The European expansion, our German distributor, Van Arsdale, is requesting 22% margins, which is a little more than we are used to. So I have an action item to take a look at these different margins and provide a break-even analysis. We also are looking at different options for 150, 120, 130 units. When it comes to residential pricing, there are some other action items that I need to accomplish. So this is quite useful. And let's say I have a follow-up question to these AI-generated notes. Copilot continues to help me. I can look right up here and open up the Copilot pane. Once I open the Copilot pane, I can see a couple of ideas. And right down here, I can select more prompts to view even more suggestions. So as a follow-up question, I'm going to ask, show me the specific financial data points and margin assumptions that Maya and Sophia mentioned that I should use in my models. This is a very targeted question that hopefully is answered there inside of the chat. And it looks like it is. Copilot is analyzing the conversation and responding to me. I'll let it generate. And then notice not only does it bring me immediately the answers to these questions, but as I hover over these different items, I can see by clicking on them the exact Teams chat message where these things were referenced. This helps Arjun look through this task and understand exactly what he needs to do even easier and simpler.
Arjun uses Copilot to tackle a European expansion analysis, incorporating currency fluctuations, regional costs, and various pricing scenarios. Based on Copilot's insights, Arjun identifies a new margin structure that provides optimal balance. This type of sophisticated financial analysis would normally take hours to produce.
So let's get to it. I'm going to minimize Teams, and I have open some of the financial modeling data set that we've been working on. Now, inside of here, I can see a variety of different competitors as well as Boulder's own proposed products and the different margin rates that we can assume. So, I want to analyze some of this data in order to draw some good conclusions. So, I'll simply move up here. Right next to Copilot, you'll see Analyze Data. When I press this, it's going to analyze the table that I'm currently using and show me some interesting things. From here, estimated dealer cost by competitor and product model. I can see that Boulder and Adatum have higher list prices than their competitors. I can see margin estimations and much more. I can even look down here for 11 different additional results. All of this is being intuited by Copilot and brought up into my field of view for me to assess if it's going to be useful or not. Now I'm going to move over to the Copilot pane here. And inside of this, I'm going to ask, add all insights to a grid. Now what it's going to do is parse through that data, again, assessing for those different useful insights. It's coming up with a couple of those. I'll give it just a moment. And then I'll confirm this. Add all of them to a grid. And just like this, take a look at what's happening before our eyes. This is being automatically saved, thank you. And I can see by power output how expensive are these different chargers. I can see that same competitor comparison of the list price. I can see that the dealer cost, estimated dealer cost, is highly correlated along this trajectory, and a lot more. I can even see the different pivot tables that are being used to generate this information right there underneath. Wonderful. Now, what if I want to review this in even more detail? I can select Get Deeper Analysis Results using Python. This is also suggested there at the beginning. You could also call this Advanced Reasoning. So I'll hit this useful suggestion here. And then Copilot says, well, I can use Advanced Analysis for that. So I'll select Start Advanced Analysis. This will create a new sheet inside of Excel for Python to play in. Now, we're going to use Python code and the power of Copilot to analyze all of the data that is of use. And so inside of here, it's going to process and understand it all. And it's showing me some useful information. Immediately, I can see that the average list price is approximately this, with a standard deviation of that. I also am going to see, based on the data, some suggestions. Visualize the distribution of list prices and estimated dealer costs. I think that's useful. Let's give that a try. It'll then, again, use Python in this same sheet to continue that work. So I can extract from this sheet what is most useful. Look at this. I can see immediately the distribution of list price and estimated dealer costs and the differences or similarities between them. I'll ask for even more ideas. Here's a couple more. Analyze the relationship between power output and list price and understand how pricing varies with power capacity. Let's try it. There we go. Now I have a dot graph here where I can see that information. It's a scatter plot showing that relation between power output and list price. It's trajecting up, which you'd expect with some outliers. Now, I want to dive into this in a little more detail. This seemingly is happening by magic, but look at the Python code that Copilot is using. Now, I don't know Python myself, and that's okay because I'm able to use the power of Python with Copilot to extract this useful financial analysis. And if I want to drill in and get even more information, I can click Show Explanation. And here at the bottom, it says this code creates a scatter plot to visualize the representation. So it's telling me and reconfirming back what it was able to do. Now, I was asked to perform a margin scenario analysis for 18, 20, and 22% with our different devices. So the analysis is multi-factored. So I'm going to click into this table and then I'll hit that Analyze Data button once more. Now it's going to give me a different breakdown of analyses using this table instead. So I can see units and 18% margin by notes. I can see list price in units and much more. I can follow these similar steps. Add all insights to a grid. And there, in that same advanced reasoning Python area, I was able to then reference a different table and add it into this analysis. So here is that useful information from the margin scenarios. So now I want to analyze these differences. So let's compare the margins across the different product models, identify which ones would be most profitable under different scenarios. Great. This analysis shows that the Charge Hub Pro 150 is the most profitable with an average margin of 56,000, followed by the Charge Hub Pro 50. This insight can help us. It sure can. I'm going to give a manual prompt. Visualize the margin scenarios as a chart. Great. Bar chart shows that the Charge Hub 150 is more than the other device, so very good. I'm thinking back to when I used Excel and I was thinking about how to select the right data and create a bar chart. Using powerful tools like this, Copilot inside of Excel, I'm able to do that with far less steps. Arjun was able to take different sets of data within the same spreadsheet and use Python to analyze them across different scenarios. We've started our day in Teams, but now I want to move on. Let's take a look at our Outlook inbox and see if we have any other tasks waiting for us.
Arjun receives a lengthy email from the internal auditor. Using Summary by Copilot, he quickly analyzes the auditor's email, highlighting the important details and audit requirements.
I'll open up Outlook. Oh, first thing I see, Rebecca Johnson. Let's see what Rebecca needs from us. Hey Arjun, as a part of our risk assessment for European expansion, we need information about financial controls being implemented. Give us details on, my goodness, exchange rates, tax compliance, proper documentation standards, European regulatory requirements, EU to USD exchange management, VAT compliance, approval processes, transactions, GDPR requirements. She has a lot of needs, and we're going to take this step by step. Fortunately, I have Copilot to help me out here. So this email thread is called Financial Control Requirements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a step outside of Outlook for a moment. I'm going to open up Teams again, and this time I'm going to press Copilot here on my side column.
Arjun needs to conduct additional research to respond to the auditor's request. He remembers that there is a Word document outlining Boulder's audit guidelines that can't recall where it's stored. Arjun uses Copilot Chat to locate the document and references the related email thread to quickly identify and highlight the sections relevant to the auditor's questions.
Now, when I am using Copilot Chat, I have two different options. I can either select Web or Work. If I hit Web, this, of course, is going to search throughout the World Wide Web in order to get me the information I need. Or I can select Work. And when I do, that is going to search through everything inside of Boulder Innovations. So for this example, I'm definitely wanting to use Copilot as a part of Microsoft 365 and use the Work tab. All right. So first, I know that there are some internal audit guidelines that we need a reference for this, but I can't remember where that Word document was stored. So let's ask Copilot. Can you find the audit guidelines document for me? Easy, plain language I'm using, just as if I'm talking to a colleague. Copilot responds similarly. Certainly, I found the auditing guidelines document. It establishes the audit and control framework. That's exactly what we need. It's provided it to me right here. Let's open it up, take a look. Because I'm using Teams, it's opened Word within the Teams window for that immediate response. And now I get to look through the audit guidelines document, which is comprehensive and a lot. So if I was not using Copilot, what I would do is take a look at what Rebecca has provided in her questions. Then I would cross-reference it with this Word document, search through the Word document to find what's relevant, and then draft a response to her. I want to show you how Copilot drastically speeds up this task. So I'm actually not going to use this document at all. I'm going to close it, and I'm going to come back into Copilot. I'm going to ask, create an outline of the different audit-related queries from, and I'm going to now reference the email from Rebecca. So I'll hit slash on my keyboard and start typing the subject line of that email. So here, from Rebecca Johnson, Financial Control Requirements, this is that email thread. So create an outline of the audit-related queries from that email. Then provide the section and subsection numbers and passages from, and then I'm going to now reference with a slash. I'll start typing audit, and there's the internal auditing guidelines. Done. Highlight the subsection numbers and passages from the auditing guidelines that are relevant to each outlined item. Here we go. Copilot's going to analyze both of these things that are stored within the Microsoft Graph inside of Microsoft 365. And doing so, it provides us this response. Wow. So let's scroll up to the top. I'll show you. Sure, here's an outline of the audit-related query. So it took that paragraph form email from Rebecca, synthesized that into a targeted list for me. We need to know exchange rates, VAT compliance, document standards, GDPR, etc. Now let's match these queries with the relevant sections and subsections from the auditing guidelines. And here it is. I didn't need to read the entire document. It was able to analyze this document. Show me that section 5.2, currency risk management, 5.2.1 is relevant, 5.2.2, etc. And then it is quoting from the document what is specifically relevant for Rebecca's queries. I can see further section 7.9, section 8.3, and so on. Now, let's ask something else. I'm going to ask it to create a checklist of documentation and control procedures specifically required for distribution partnerships, highlighting any differences between North American and European requirements. Wonderful. Sure, here's a checklist of these procedures. It's still making it for me, I believe. Yep, and now it's done. So I can go up to the top here, and I can say North American requirements, European requirements, and then the differences between them, specifically highlighted. It's pretty nice to be able to see the differences summarized right here. So this is quite useful. I've done what Rebecca asked. So all that's left is to respond to Rebecca. Now, because in this chat with Copilot, I previously referenced that email thread, I could simply say something like this. This is great. Please transform these insights into a detailed email response to Rebecca. By keeping everything in this same chat with Copilot, it's able to use the previous references of everything that we've talked about so far. So while I could use drafting in Outlook in order to create this email, I can do it here in this chat so I get an even more relevant and informed response. All right, here it has drafted the email to Rebecca. It is showing these things. Hi, hope you're doing well. Below are the details regarding this. It puts in some of the learnings that we have here, specifically addressing each of the things that she had wanted for us, including a checklist. Now, it's a lengthy email, but I'm a financial analyst, so that might be okay for me. I'm going to simply hit this big, nice copy button. Just like that. Now I'll move back over to Outlook, and I'll reply to Rebecca's email. And in here, I'll paste that response. Now, I do need to come in here and remove some things, customize this, review it for accuracy. So I'm going to just have that simply sign off with best regards and then my name. Up at the top of this email, I will delete this unnecessary bit there. Great. Now, hi Rebecca, hope you're doing well. Here's everything that is necessary. Notice it has linked and cited the document, the auditing guidelines, where this came from for each of these. Now, obviously, this is citing just the one document, but imagine if I had multiple. This could be useful. I've answered all of Rebecca's questions, so I'm good to go. I can simply hit send. Perfect. And just like that, I've addressed that question.
While on vacation, Arjun missed a meeting about Boulder's new residential product. He uses Copilot to get the specific details he needs, including action items and deadlines. He then asks Copilot targeted questions about the meeting's discussion, revealing important details and context.
When someone's taking well earned paid time off, it's expected they might miss a meeting or two. And some of those meetings could be pretty important ones. While Arjun was away, he missed the meeting for Charge Hub Home, the residential product that's being developed by Boulder. But fortunately, because he has Microsoft 365 Copilot, he's kept in the know. So let's dive in and take a look at a Teams meeting recap. Here, I'll move down to Microsoft Teams, and I can see here is the Charge Hub Home vTeam Sync that Arjun could not attend. I'll open this up in its full form. Now, inside of Microsoft Teams, you'll now see Recap here in this top menu. When I select it, not only am I going to have immediate access to the recording of this meeting, so I can relive the magic and watch it word for word, but if I don't have time for that, I can see so much additional information in this one view in Microsoft Teams. So for Arjun, that means that down below here, he can see who attended and exactly how long they spent talking back and forth. He could even click topics, which you see right here, and have the two main topics that were discussed. Now imagine a meeting that has 5 or 7 different topics. Being able to jump exactly to the right part of the meeting that gives the information that he's looking for is critical. This feature, being able to sort by topics and even break them down into different chapters in the video, is going to make parsing through this information so much faster, so we can jump right to the part of the recording that is relevant. However, the smarts of Copilot do not stop there. Over here on this side, you'll see notes, AI summary, mentions, and transcript. You'd expect there to be a full transcript of everything that was said in the meeting, but that is then infused with some AI smarts to provide AI generated meeting notes. Now, think about what this means. So often, we find people who are joining a meeting only to then sit there with their fingers buried inside of their keyboard, head down, taking feverish notes in order to make sure that all of that detail is captured. This breaks our connection with the remote participants, breaks eye contact, and makes it hard for us as a human to not only take notes about what was just said a few seconds ago, but then also translate that into what am I going to say next in the Teams meeting. By having AI generated notes, it frees Arjun or Maya or Sophia or anyone to focus on the meeting fully, resting assured that Copilot is there to help take the notes and keep everyone on the same page. So right here, Arjun can see that we talked about product positioning and market clarity, pricing tiers, bundling strategies, sustainability differentiators and eco premium pricing, ROI payback calculators, financing options, impacts on margins, data discrepancies and coordination, and much more. It even shows some follow-up tasks down below. Now this is super useful, so I can select copy all, and then I can paste this wherever it's going to be valuable for the team to review. But if you don't have an idea of where to paste it, there's this Notes tab here. Let's take a look. I'll open up Notes. Now this is creating a loop component, which is a very smart, quick, synchronized way to keep everyone in the same page. I'll hit Add Notes. This will create that page, including agenda, meeting notes, follow-up tasks, and more. So right here under Meeting Notes, I'll paste all of those notes and insights from Copilot right here. Now, this loop component is automatically shared with everyone within the organization. But I can take this a step further. Right up here, you'll see Copy Component. What I like about this is if Arjun decides to move somewhere else, like responding here to Maya in an email conversation, he can paste that loop component. So now, let's say, I want to delete the agenda from this. I will use Snap in Windows 11 to put this on this side. And then I will put my Teams meeting recap over here. So these are the same. Notice as I write something, it appears instantaneously in both locations. So I can see this here in Outlook immediately, and I can also make changes here in Teams, and it is kept up to date wherever that manifests itself. So yes, you can paste that loop component into an email, send that off to people, and whomever makes updates whenever they feel like, they're all going to be kept on the same page and in the know. So I'll go ahead and delete the agenda section since the meeting already happened, and I'll keep it centered on meeting notes, and you'll see those changes populate across the board. Let me make Teams full screen again. There we go. I have my notes page all nice and set. But of course, I was wanting to catch up, and even these notes are still meaty and a lot to read through. This is where the power of Microsoft 365 Copilot helps even more. I can select Copilot right here on the right-hand side and open up the Copilot pane. Now, this is where I can have a conversation with my meeting. Just like how earlier we were able to interact with the Teams chat, I can do that same thing, but this time for the audio and transcription of the meeting that happened without me. So let's ask a few questions. I'll say, what are the finance action items and their deadlines? Now, Copilot's going to parse through everything it knows about this meeting and get us those actions. And goodness, they really loaded me up with a lot of tasks. I can see who's responsible: Arjun, to model break even per channel, factoring in retail partner margins, contractor installer margins, utility partner rebates. The list goes on and on. Arjun needs to map zip codes where bundling occurs. There's a lot of finance action items, and the deadlines are put in here. Now, let me ask another follow-up question. What data do I need from the Marin pilot, and where should I request it? Now, that was something that was mentioned casually in the meeting. Let's see what insights we can extract using Copilot. Okay, data needed for the pilot: solar prioritized charging, usage patterns with time of use rate schedules, and regional lifetime carbon offset based on participants' homes zip code. Request the data from Jamal's team. They can extract the necessary data from the Marin pilot. That's really useful. See, if I just got the notes, that might not tell me the extra step of where can I go to get this. This was incited by a statement from Sophia. Sophia in the transcript, and I can click this to jump straight to the transcript, or I can click the transcript button here. When I click this, Jamal can extract the data. You see that there, which is really nice. Okay, let's try another one. Let's have it help us be productive. Build a timeline for completing my models and ROI tools. Now, Copilot's going to think through this. There wasn't a timeline necessarily discussed, and it's going to draft something for my review so I can see if this makes sense. It's putting all of this together. So this is going to take me weeks of time. Welcome back from vacation. But I can see here my pricing tiers and bundling strategy, break-even analysis, and bundling options. Do those in week 1, since those were indicated in the meeting that they were due soonest. And you can see that here. I can hover over my FA telling me what I need to do, week 2, extended warranties, pricing matrix, and so on. So this is really useful for me. Let's try another question. This one will be a specific question. What rollout timing scenarios were discussed by the channel? Now Copilot's going to think through this. Very good. Rollout timing scenarios by channel. Retail partners, they want that 20% margin. Rollout timing will be influenced by the scenarios and bundling strategies. Contractor installers want 12 to 15% margin. Utility partners want rebates. All of this influenced by the regional timeline, additional considerations, and more. Okay, now I'm going to ask Copilot something somewhat vague. Which top 3 items do you, Copilot, suggest I complete first? Because there's a lot of items here. Copilot will look at it, determine what it thinks is most important. Now, of course, it's a Copilot, not an autopilot. So I need to verify everything Copilot says, make sure that that is the top priorities. But Copilot will still go out of its way to prioritize these things and give me a nice targeted list, as you see here. Pricing tiers and bundling strategy, break-even analysis, and the bundling options. This is where I should start. So this is great. It's giving me this first step. Draft an email to Maya letting her know I'll address all the action items, but will start with these 3 for this week. So this is good because I've identified my 3 things I want to focus on first. Now it will help me draft that email to Maya very quickly so I could take that and put it into Outlook. Hi Maya, hope you're doing well. I want to let you know that I'll address all of the action items discussed in our recent meeting. For this week, I'll prioritize these 3 tasks. These tasks provide a solid foundation for our strategy. I'll keep you updated on the progress. Okay, this is very good. Now, one thing I want to do is these top 3 items to complete first. I'm going to hit copy right up here on this Copilot response. And then I'm going to put those into the notes because clearly there's a lot of items. And if I scroll down, you can see follow-up tasks. It continues. So right before all the follow-up tasks, I'll go ahead and put in top 3 items to complete first. Great. And then there's all of the other follow-up tasks. Good. So I can have all of this stay in sync. Now I have that meeting the email from Maya. So let me come in and I'll highlight this and copy it. And now I can go back into my email in Outlook to Maya. I can paste that in. Hi Maya, hope you're doing well. Now, when you paste from Copilot, there is going to be some customization you're going to want to do. I'll simply jump right in. I want to let you know that I'll address these 3 tasks. They'll provide a solid foundation. And then I'll say, here are the meeting notes in Loop. Great. I have all of those right there. Nice and robust. Good. I'll delete that. Keep it nice and clean. Thanks, Arjun Wells. Throughout Arjun's day, we've witnessed how Microsoft 365 Copilot transforms financial analysis and communication. From rapidly digesting complex discussions to creating advanced models and crafting technically precise yet accessible communications, Copilot helps Arjun deliver financial insights that drive strategic decisions. For finance professionals like Arjun, Copilot bridges the gap between technical expertise and business impact. Complex financial concepts become accessible to everyone while maintaining the analytical rigor that's essential for sound decision making. On your screen, you'll find resources specifically designed for finance teams looking to implement Copilot, including templates, use cases, and integration guides. Thank you for exploring Arjun's financial journey with me today. I'm excited to see how Copilot helps your finance team deliver even greater value.
This event is now concluded. If you have any final questions, you can ask them in the chat. Event resources are linked in our event platform. Thank you so much for joining us today.